Hello, Patreon. We are back with our fun bi-monthly show, A Bad Trip to the Movie with the Cardens. I am one half of that titular duo, Charlie Carden of SFU fame. I am joined by my delightful wife, April. Say hello, please.
Hello.
And for the first time in our 3-episode history, we are joined by a very special guest, my hetero life mate, lifetime podcasting partner of a decade, Mr. Todd Oxtra. Todd, welcome.
Well, hello, everyone.
Yes. And I thought it was super necessary to bring Todd on board to talk about this film because I had only ever heard about it from him, and then I had remembered seeing trailers back in the day. I will at least introduce the movie, and then Todd will let you talk a little bit about your experience. So we are talking about the 1999 film Wing Commander. Science fiction film loosely based on a video game series of the same name, directed by Chris Roberts, the creator of the game series, starring Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, Saffron Burrows. I'm skipping this next one. Jurgen Porchop, David Chouchet, and David Warner. Wow. Principal photography took place in Luxembourg. That's in France, right? I've never been to France. I don't know. Yes, I'm getting a nod. Okay.
Luxembourg, yes. It's a small country outside of France.
Oh,
yes.
There we go. Nissi now remember. And post-production in Austin, Texas. The film was released in March of 1990 to critical and commercial failure, grossing a little over $11 million. Wow. I mean, even especially by today's standards, that's a scary number, but it's a wow. It's a much smaller failure than it would be if it was today. The film was the second on-screen collaboration with Lillard and Prinze Jr. after She's All That. What a classic. And both later worked together in the first two Scooby-Doo films and Summer Catch. All right. Before we get into the highly detailed analysis, Todd brought you on this today because you've talked to me about this in the past. What's your history with this film?
So Wing Commander, the only reason I saw this movie is because I wanted to see the trailer for episode 1. Because back in the old days, there was no YouTube. You couldn't just watch something online. Essentially, you had to be in the theater. If you did watch a video online, it was probably like, 240 by 1080 or whatever, the smallest resolution you could see.
And
motion,
correctly. Yeah,
and their internet was slow for most people. So that just didn't exist. So to see the trailer, I went to this movie, bait and switch. And so that's why maybe episode 1 has a bad taste in my mouth, because I had to go through that experience to see episode 1. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag for me. But yes, this was, I was living down in Florida, saw it at the theater, and it's really soured me quite a bit, because there was a lot in this movie that I just felt like, wow. And because I think at this point in 1999, we were seeing just movies, especially genre movies, getting so much better. And then this came about, and I'm like, wow, are we taking a step back?
It did take a low swing. So, April, my dear, had you had any familiarity with this at all before it found its way onto our bad movies list?
Not even a little bit, but I'm not a gamer, so I didn't even know about the game.
Most definitely. So, okay, well, let's jump into this. Everybody has their notes open, I assume. And at the end of it, I have a little blurb of trivia that we can talk through. And Todd, what we usually do is we'll go round robin, and maybe each of us will pick 1, 2, or 3 of the trivia items that we find interesting. So, okay, I'll get it rolling. We open with the classic 20th century fanfare, but the extended Star Wars version that goes dun da 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 dun da da, and I'm like, oh, I am 100% sure that this is the last thing that I'm going to enjoy about this film. But ironically, again, Todd, you're sitting there watching it in Florida, and to be fair, to put some of the onus on you, it didn't happen a lot in the old days, but you really could have gotten up and walked out, to be honest with you.
I could have, but I was always hoping it was going to get better.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy. And I was looking, because this movie made $11 million. Its budget was $27 million. So, I mean, the Matrix had a budget made at the same time, 66. So that just tells you, like, they were not they didn't have a lot to work with from a budget.
Oh, my gosh. All right, April, your first thoughts as the movie's getting started?
I thought the intro was really long.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the intros were really long. So
right, because it was all the credits.
Odd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was needlessly dramatic is what I have written down.
Right. Yeah. All the, what did I write? Opening titles, already a cliche with the big JFK's Moon Man speech. And they had those cutting edge, like DVD menus. I remember when I got my first ever DVD, it was 2000's X-Men, and Fox had a promo for DVD is the new blah 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 with 3D menus, meow meow, and it's just like this just looked like cutscene the movie, or DVD menus the movie. It was just, oh yikes. So off the bat, one of the first actors we see is David Warner. I'm like, David Warner, I mean, was 20 of the $26 million paying him? Because he's really the only actor who I feel like was pulling it really, even only in the first part of the movie. I'm like, yeah, David Warner, who's just one of the greatest actors of his time, was in this. And this is before we're seeing anybody else, but yeah, their space agency is the Confederation, and the bad guys are the Kilrathi? Kilratso?
Wrathy. The Kilrathi.
Okay. Kilrathi. That is digging deep. So, awesome right off the bat. Military personnel dressed in beanie caps and sweatshirts. I mean, the money is not going for the budget. That's for sure. I mean, honey, you and I go to a lot of cons, obviously, over the years, and we know a lot of cosplay folks. I've never seen anybody take a stab at one of these. But the truth is, anybody could do it. I mean, I don't know. Beanies were kind of a big thing in the 90s. You know, I don't know if that was consistent with what you saw in the video game, or even like their flight suits. But yeah, we got our first big effects bonanza. The base being attacked with literal sound effects of dive bombing fighter craft on Pearl Harbor. So it was like, it was like, oof. Wow. Everything exploding all over the place. Anyway, I'm doing all the talking. So, honey, so the explosion's happening. The base is this is happening. What happens next?
Honey, I didn't write notes about everything.
Todd, what happens next?
The Kilrathi steal the nav drive. And we get very little, and you'll hear about this. Essentially, the Kilrathi, they just didn't have the budget to do anything with them. At most, they stood up and maybe shot and maybe scowled. That was about it.
And they were like big kitty cats, right? That's what they look like.
Yeah, and they look very different in the games, because they do look like big lions in the game. And this, they look like they had a cat face. Yeah, they look like cat, like kitty cat. Yeah. And it was so funny because they were trying to destroy the drive. So the commander gets a big gun out, starts shooting at the glass so they don't get it. And that doesn't work. So what does he do? He throws a chair at it. I'm like, that's not gonna work, you dumbass.
The chair will, yeah. And I love the NavCon. Yeah, is the big MacGuffin, is literally a car battery with some widgets on top of it.
Yep,
totally awesome. Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah. So then we're cutting out to a merchant ship out in the middle of nowhere, and they need to reach them on subspace. And then what did I write? We start to learn the character names, and a lot of them just sound like they're being pulled out of a hat. Taggart, Blair, Marshall. I mean, you can be like Commander Blair and Lieutenant Marshall. And then Prince Jr. and Lillard, they look like, and I really, after finding this was made in Luxembourg and France, their outfits just kind of look like those French sailor shirts with the big stripes. That's just kind of what
I expect him to play a whistle when someone comes on deck.
Obs are on deck, and yeah. So then we start seeing some of their techs. Do you remember zip discs? The big plastic clunkers with the.
I thought it was a Sony mini disc, to be honest.
Oh, that's a little bit more like it. So, but it took me a while. But their grumpy freighter captain guy was. Oh, it's that guy. He was the bad guy in Bad Boys. The French. I know. Yeah, that was a deep thing. That was a movie that me and my best buddy from high school, Louis, we absolutely loved that movie. So I guess that's why it clicked with me. So.
Chechicario, is that his name?
Yeah, he must have been the one that I couldn't pronounce. So, still in the scene, Freddie is where and it was funny. April and I were talking about this. We just go through in my notes, and it's just we don't know the character name, so it's just Freddie and Lillard.
Yeah, I have down that Matthew Lillard is looking very Matthew Lillardly.
Lillardly, like
He's
Lily
definitely
pad?
not a natural blonde, and yet
Oh my gosh.
he is very much dyed
No.
blonde.
Super like his character from Scream, which was really the kind of the
Yes,
biggest thing
definitely.
of
That was his
regard.
first role, wasn't it? Was this his first major role with Scream?
Probably. I think that was
I think so.
96 or no. Hackers came out in 95.
Oh.
So there you go.
Oh, I forgot he was in
Yeah, him and Johnny Lee Miller. So
Hackers. It's so funny.
I know, but yeah, Freddie's wearing some big odd pendant where it's very. What did I wrote? I said, "Oh, I have the feeling of Freddie foreshadowing." Off of that, and then it turns up and it really reminds me of the ring around Lone Star's neck in Spaceballs. That's what I'm getting that for. Oh, let's see here. We jumped into with Freddie foreshadowing. He's given us a super force like Earth history lesson. Really reminded me of like Lex Luthor in Smallville. Like, well, the blah blah blah, this thing and that thing. Numbers like, very good. So okay, so now the ship has to jump to where David Warner is. So all right, what happens from there? Honey, you didn't take notes. Todd, where are we headed when all of our characters finally get together?
So you'll have to forgive me. I was taking notes while I was on my elliptical while I was watching this. And
that's got to be
how
tough.
I watched this had no subtitles, and so it was very loud. So a lot of the dialogue didn't come through very well. And
you didn't miss anything.
It is essentially what they were doing is they were having to time and get the acceleration of their ship right through like a black hole to then transport to the ship because they had to get there in time because the Kilrathi will apparently take out the Earth within 42 hours or something. So they've got to use this to get there quicker and get the information to that ship.
You bet. And so they get to the ship and they meet, the new captain and his XO, and his XO is really, really grumpy. And then we turn into, when you get all the pilots together, it turns into CW meets Beverly Hills 90210 meets Melrose Place, and Lillard starts quipping, this guy's got a serious attitude problem when they're all, it was just, oh my God, it was just absolutely
it's like what do you do when you're in the prison? You punch the biggest guy. I think that's what they were trying to do.
There you go.
And it definitely felt like Starship Troopers and kind of like those.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah. It definitely had that feel, but not as good.
Yeah, and a lot of hey, it's that guy's on the Tiger Claw is the name of the main ship, and then we get into one of the first of many. I swear you could get a counter going of all the time that people are making an issue out of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character's race because he's a mixed race, whatever.
Yeah,
mixed race
and an orphan.
That does hit the double check mark. So Lillard trying to be Starbuck from original Battlestar Galactica. Look at all the chicks, man. I mean, oh my God. and their ships just basically look like those. So there was a lot of Battlestar Galactica aping, but like the old old-timey Battlestar Galactica, which was very much of the 70s. So this was 70s doing don't you remember back in the 90s how the 70s was such a big deal? And it's always like 20 years later. So now we're really enjoying, a renaissance of early 2000s culture. So I noticed this film being from that era hasn't really come back and been a big hit. What a shame.
No
doubt.
The flight suits looked like the aliens from Last Starfighter.
Yeah,
for some reason. Maybe they borrowed that because it was laying around like, oh, we got a ton of this. We'll save some money.
Oh, my gosh. And we get introduced to Saffron Burrows as she's the CAG, the big boss. She's awesome. I'm a fan.
Right after they call her a grease monkey.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no. He offended his new CO. What's going to happen? Now let's put the overtones of Top Gun on it now.
Yeah. They're
dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And she's the wing commander, exactly. So the inside of their ship I thought was very submarine-like. So it's a submarine in space. I don't know.
It did make me feel like the Navy it felt like a Navy vessel, which, docking ships. So that made sense in a way. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, okay, that works. So Lillard is trying to be all nice in the pilot's ready room, and they're all super being jerks to it. But they all have it's the same bottle of like Johnny Walker. What was that? What was like Johnny Walker? Everybody always, there's only one bottle of liquor that makes its way around the ship. And different people have it. So in the future, all people are drinking our whiskey. So let's see, more dialogue pulled out of a hat. Size doesn't matter. My balls are bigger. I don't know. Anyway, then they call David Warner up. He does a big exposition dump, so he just kind of lets us know what's coming up and what they got to do. And I thought that would be the end of David Warner, but we don't end up losing him at this point. So, yep, more cracks about Freddie Pilgrim being a Pilgrim half-breed, and this comes from the captain talking to the XO. I'm like, oh, it's good you have the absolute support at the highest level. Lots of homoerotic energy in the break room. Just anyway, all right. What? Okay, so we're getting ready for a big mission. What's going down? One of you guys jump in, please.
I believe. Go ahead, April.
I put down. You can tell this is based on a video game because this is basically all cutscenes.
Yeah. Nothing to really string the plot. It's like the plot is strung together by like dental floss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're getting ready for the mission. All right, go ahead, Todd, please.
So they were trying to, I believe, take down a communication ship that they believe had the NavCon. It essentially like, oh, we have to not get seen, or we're not going to engage with them because it could cause war. Although they're going to kill us in 48 hours or anyway. So, but yes, they're trying to stay remote. That doesn't go so well. So they do engage. They get in trouble for engaging the enemy, and they lose the navigation ship. I believe that's what happened. Or did they get the navigation ship at that point? This is where the plot just kind of like, okay, it's got a little stringy at times.
It just all starts to melt. So, I did note the black dude on the bridge is Captain Panaka from the Phantom Menace. So there, look at that connection back to the Phantom Menace. So yeah, Wing Commander Saffron is really killer with her pep talks. We're all going to die out here, but I'm like, it's cool. You had me at, we're all going to die out here. Just, wow. That is totally awesome.
And you cannot bring up a pilot who has passed away. They never existed.
Yeah.
Exactly correct. Yeah. So let's see here. They've still got the French guy, the freighter captain hanging around, Freddie foreshadowing, why is he hanging around? We're going to find out. The captain is talking about fancy jewelry. Weird. And it's just Lillard just won't stop making cracks and having his big toothy smile and talking about, he mentions 5 or 6 times, man, do you remember back at the academy? Dude, he was like a frat boy. Man, do you remember back at that kegger with Sigma, Delta, Gamma, whatever? Just, I'm not a huge fan of Matthew Lillard, but boy, I'll tell you, when he became, Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movies, it really was the role the role of a lifetime he was mentor. So Lillard's making fun of the Pilgrim pendant again. So we know, this is really teeing this up to be kind of a big thing. Back talking about David Warner, and he gives the classic, we're running at 100%, Captain. That's no good. Take it up to 120%. Wow. In the world of the future, there are no percentages. So Todd, a thought?
Well, I was just thinking of like the cast and everybody involved in this, and the captain is the actor. You probably don't recognize him because he's speaking with English accent here, which is an accent. He plays Poirot, the Belgian detective from Agatha Christie novel that you've seen before. He's got the mustache, and he always looks like this. And so we're not hearing them like. So we've got Poirot, we've got the Scooby-Doo gang, we've got a Klingon from Star Trek with David Warner. Right. I mean,
Anna Cardassian,
and just it was weird. And I'm thinking, well, this time weren't these like 2 of the hottest young actors? I don't even know what we called that group of actors at the time from like She's All That in those movies. Was it like, wasn't the Brat Pack? Was there another name for that group of hot, like Social Keller and all those?
Later in the 2000s, when it was like the Wilson brothers and like the Anchorman, that was the Frat Pack, but it wasn't these guys.
I don't think these guys had a nickname.
They didn't get one. They didn't deserve it.
They were just, it was the tail end. It was
Scooby-Doo gang.
It was Gen X, so we're the generation of of whatevers. Yeah, exactly. This is a big whatever. So
there was that moment when they were going to then take down that ship with the group of Marines, right?
Right.
Why was Freddie Prinze Jr. like leading the charge of Marines? He is a damn pilot. He is not.
They do that in Battlestar too, like in the newer Battlestar, where they have like Marines are being led by Starbuck, and I'm like, she's a pilot, but she's the best sniper we've got. Why is she the best sniper we've got? But anyway, I don't want to get too far afield. So we have the only two ladies and the only two women in this movie are hanging out, and they're drinking that same bottle of scotch. But this was after Lillard explains to the black pilot, who he very quickly gets involved with. And they have one of those great sex scenes where they're both dressed because they're rolling around in bed and everybody's dressed. And he's explaining to her why men are better in the cockpit, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. Yeah, black pilot chick crushing on Lillard. Why? Because he's a guy and she's a girl, and it was in the script. Let's see, Freddie Prinze Jr., and again, they're still on the ship, having a pity party because so many people are giving him shit about being a half-breed, in quotes, chatting with a superfluous French freighter captain. We still don't know why he's still there. And a big exposition dump about how the Pilgrim brain is stronger than an AI. Okay. That's so he has half the strength of a bigger brain of, I don't know. Saffron's character is called Devereaux, which sounds like something you name a character you want to be cool and mysterious, but in the case, not so much.
Or a golden girl.
Or a golden girl, exactly. And I did write the orange jumpsuits look like a cosplay of the X-Wing jumpsuits from Star Wars off of Wish. It's terrible. Their FTL jump is super matrixy because they all go. It feels like they pause to then go like meow. Oh my god,
that was bad because that was at the same time the Matrix did it, but obviously they had more money. They probably could afford, because the whole way you do it is you just put all these cameras around, right. So you basically get that three. Like they had three, so it's like it was bad. Yeah, exactly. It did not look good, and it was like, oh boy, they just try to have something cool, I guess, where they could say, look what we did,
right? And this was
did.
Yeah, this was right at the moment because April and I were watching the Mission Impossible movies, because the one's coming out in a few weeks here, and we're watching the second one, which I had never actually seen the whole thing, but it was right that came out in 2000, and it was right when 3D was getting big again. So it makes me wonder if this had anything to do with that or whatever. I don't know. It's absolutely dreadful. I wrote the pilots' helmets have a cool little monocle instead of like a heads-up display. So that's fair. That actually was from. Didn't they also have that in the last Starfighter? Wasn't that a thing with the bad guys in that? Didn't they have monocles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Monocle. That's a look that has passed us by. So. Yes, big fight scene. Saffron and Freddie are flying along, but they get in the big crack up and end up back on the ship, and the Exo's chewing them out, and he's dropping more racial slurs about pilgrims. Super duper rude. I can't even believe it.
They're like the mutants. They're like the mutants, Charlie, because everybody hates the mutants. So I think that's what it's about, maybe.
Right.
They thought they were better. They were the first to explore space.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then that turns into, once Saffron and Freddie are alone, he's still what did I write from? Freddie's orphan sob story to Saffron, ham fists away. Oh, and Saffron is an orphan too.
Yes.
Oh, we're getting close. We're going to have a smoochy moment. It's happening. So, oh God. And then Todd, it jumps into what you said. I wrote, this scene is killing me. She's all, I got too close to another pilot and he died and I don't want to get hurt again. Meh, 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 meh. And then, yes. Then it cuts away. And then we're, like I was mentioning, Lillard and the black pilot chick are doing the very common having sex with clothes on, and their pillow talk is fantastic.
She makes it all worth it because they just met.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. All of it.
Makes it all worth it.
But it was the ultimate, one of my least favorite cliches is the buddy cop scene. Oh man, I'm so glad we were able to settle our differences, and now we're going to be best friends, or we're going to blah blah blah, and then obviously what's coming up next. So okay, so oh God, then they're getting ready to fly, and every one of the pilots is a different Earth nationality. So there's one Australian guy. I don't fly with pilgrims. Oh, Saffron's not having it. Boom, shuts it down. All right. Oh, helmets look like those sparring helmets the boxers wear. I mean, yeah, they were. I don't know where the $26 million all went to. The very dog and pony sideshow of all the cutscenes, but okay. So I wrote the French guy joins the French freighter captain joins the mission, but I figured that was kind of the end of him. But he is actually an undercover Commodore. Never saw. I really thought he was just going to die. I can't believe it. And then, okay, so this is when we get to the big bad shootout, and they're launching torpedoes. So they have torpedoes that look like submarine torpedoes. So they're extending that metaphor. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, the captain just doesn't kind of acts like he doesn't know what he's doing. And Saffron keeps calling all the pilots ladies. Like, is that supposed to be an insult? Because one of them is a lady.
I was going to say one of them is a lady. That's kind of, does make sense.
Right. Oh, big misogyny alarm. This takes balls, Lillard says to the black chick. And this is how a man does it, baby. Oh, my God. But buddy cop speech results in what? What happens after a buddy cop speech? Jump in, guys. Come on.
Somebody's going to die.
Somebody's going to.
Yes,
and who's it going to be?
It's going to be that long love romance we've had for essentially 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly. 24 minutes. So, yeah, so she crashes, the black chick crashes her ship on the deck.
But why does she crash, Charlie?
I can't remember.
Because Maniac is a moron and keeps going, getting too close, and he finally shoots the Kilrathi vessel, and then part of that carnage comes and hits her. So he actually causes the crap.
And Maniac is Lillard, right? And then they do this great. He's Lillard's back on the ship, and it's one of those like hangar bays where there's a force field like on Star Trek in the shuttlecraft bay, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna get out there. I gotta save her." And I love it. They don't let him go out, but eventually they unceremoniously like, "Yeah, we can't get her out," so they send out like a little cargo truck that looks like a snowplow,
sweep her off the
and
side.
They're like, "See ya, bonk."
Which I'm like, wait, you couldn't have pushed her in? No,
she was dead. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
It's basically it's like the thing picking up roadkill. Like, oh, there we go, throw it in the back of the truck.
How do we know she's dead? We know.
Oh my goodness. So then, we
don't want to save her body. We don't want to give her a burial. We don't want to, send her remains home. No,
there's no time. Oh my gosh. So it was very dramatic, and then there's a blowout with the pilots, and one of them is being insubordinate. So Saffron says, "Give me your sidearm. I'm gonna shoot him in the face for treason," and it doesn't happen. But boy, was I ever! I sat up so I could be on the edge of my seat. So wow, serious stuff. So much tension. So we're back in space fighting. Oh, we end up seeing there's another woman in the movie, but she doesn't talk because you can't afford speaking roles for 3 women in a movie that has a $26 million budget. So long and unneeded scene of Lillard saving Freddy from an airlock-sized plot hole device. Oh, I didn't write down what it was.
So
what was it?
What I have down is, oh no, Freddie Prinze almost flies off the flight deck while Matthew Lillard tries to save him.
Oh, that's right.
Puts a bunch of people at risk. Lillard is hurt and is bleeding. A medic is not quick. He ends up looking just fine and being ordered to fly again. Probably not a good idea given how hurt he is. Right. I assume he is going to die.
Oh my goodness.
They just put some of that. They ended up. So there was like a puncture in the hull, which created a vacuum. And
there you go.
It was funny. How do they fix it? They had a big piece of metal that flew away and just happened.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Thankfully, save the hole, but I just love it. It's like human hands are stronger than vacuums because apparently, my grip is steel and it can save them. But yeah, I put on some of that flex tape. What is that flex tape that they sell on TV where it plugs holes in boats?
Yes.
Just put that in his gut and then he's good to go.
There you go. That's awesome. So, oh God, where did I end up in my notes? So where are we now? So, okay. Freddie reverse pep talk Safford into giving Lillard another chance. It was something really bad too. And then the French guy's still alive. I guess I thought he was dead, and then he came back. So, here's one I love. This is just a sidebar. I said I love that the dog tags remind me of like a vanity gift shop license plate. I said, does Lillard say Bort? Like the ones that have names on them. Oh,
well, and it was funny because Freddie Prinze Jr.'s name was Maverick. Okay, you do not make a movie where you give, Top Gun. You're making a space flying movie, and Maverick, right. Top Gun. It's like, were they just trying to ape Top Gun and thinking they were doing a good job doing it?
Yeah, that's a little tough to write on those coattails. Saffron says to Lillard, they're getting ready to go out on the big mission, and she says to him, I need my best pilots out there. And Lillard says, I don't know if I'm one of your best pilots, ma'am. And it was such a hard eye roll. Oh my God.
He's like fishing for compliments.
Yeah. Please. Yeah, please. Now the XO is going to fly with him, but not before saying some more racist shit about every Freddy. Oh, just let it go, dude. Nobody's flying. It's all land war now. So it's Todd, it's what you were saying, that now they're with the Marines and they're going to go because they're going to go and they're going to fight the kitty cats the kill Rathy kitty cats face to face. I said, the Marines look like they got recycled outfits. They look like Enemy Mine, which was the other, it was like The Last Starfighter was a little gritty, another sci-fi movie that came out in the 80s. So, then we the kill ratties look like some cheap ass Muppets, I thought, because it was really bad. Because it was just like exactly. If you're watching this on YouTube,
they just fall.
Yeah.
Boom.
You just see guy pulling the wire back.
It was like mannequins dressed up in a suit.
I have down the aliens look like they were created by a 5-year-old with some clay.
Yes.
Oh, Ray Harryhausen is spinning.
It was it was probably a hand puppet. Like they just.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's see here. So the only way to stop the bad guys is going through the space thing and setting Freddy alone in a ship with Saffron behind him. And then this is when Frenchie gives him, I'm going to sing, you got the touch, you got the power speech, you got the genetics, and you got to have faith and some shit. That's what. Oh my God. And Frenchie is also a space pilgrim.
Yes.
There you go. Why didn't you tell me, Freddie ass? Probably because everybody's a racist asshole about it.
Because I don't want to stand out. I want you to get ridiculed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there doesn't need to be two of us. The space missile locked onto our ship, and only Saffron and Freddy can save the day. The tension is just cut it with a lightsaber. Oh, Saffron has to sacrifice her ship, but Freddy snags her escape pod. But she says, no, obey my orders, and I'll just hang out there in space and suffocate. I think she's going to be okay. I'm not, I didn't write this with any foreknowledge of it, but I'm just getting a good feeling. So, I did love that all of their helmets did have their name in little puff sparkle letters. Yeah. That was good. That was a good investment in that budget. Freddy charges into the space anomaly. What did I like the Lego movie to put the thing on the other thing? More exactly. More close up of the space kitty bad guys is all I'm calling them now, and lots of pew pews, and our guys win the battle. And Freddy says, the only line I remembered from the trailer in reference to his ship, "I love this baby." That was the only thing I remembered about the movie.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. So we're getting into the third act here. So we're getting ready, charging into the battle. What happens next?
Yeah, it's going to be on someone else because I have down.
You just quit at this point?
I fell asleep.
Oh my
God. Because he escapes, he gets through the tunnel, which takes no time at all. There's no fanfare this time when they do it. It's just he goes through it, and he knows the one ship decides to follow him, so it follows him, and he realizes he's only got he's on a quarter tank of gas. He can't do much at all, and he knows he has to do something, so he misdirects them to go towards the gravity well as well. And at the last minute, he pulls away because he's apparently got a stronger engine than this huge battleship, but that's essentially gets pulled into the gravity well, and he saves the day.
God, that's fantastic. So let's see here. So, Freddy tricked them, the kiddies, into the space anomaly, and they get blown up on the other side. David Warner comes back, and he's face to face with Freddy, and he says, "Your parents would be proud." Oh God!
Yeah, and apparently I knew your father.
Oh, you're right, exactly.
But I didn't want to adopt you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh God, you're right. He was too busy doing space shit. Exactly.
Good luck in the orphanage.
So, big shocker. Freddy rushes back to a wreck with Saffron in it. She made it. So much tension. Freddy, don't you die on me. And he said 5 or 6 other cliches like in a row that I did not write down, but I was like, man. And then big smooch. And then there's a weird long lens pullout, and that's the end of the movie.
It's a tight 90. Got to keep it under 90.
Yeah, exactly.
We are running out of minute. I can see the ticker of the money just running out. It's like
88 minutes. That's we're done. Oh, okay. So end of the movie. So it's trivia time. Does everybody have their trivia up? And Todd, it was funny. I sorted this just like when we did our IMDb challenge. I sorted it by most helpful to least helpful. So everybody got their trivia. Go ahead, babe.
But really quick, I did ask AI for a summary of the film.
Oh my God.
So Chat GPT says, I'm just going to do the summary.
Please.
Because it said a lot. But Wing Commander falls short in its execution, failing to deliver a compelling narrative and visually stunning experience. While it may have some nostalgic appeal for fans of the game series, it struggles to stand out among other science fiction films of its time. If you're a fan of the Wing Commander games, you may find some enjoyment in seeing the world brought to life. But as a standalone film, it lacks a necessary element to make it memorable or recommendable viewing experience.
Wow, talk about that is smashing the nail on the head.
Yes.
That is awesome. So, okay, everybody's got the trivia up. So let's go around the horn, glance over the trivia, and everybody will go round robin for 2 or 3 rounds. Todd, what's a piece of trivia here that you find interesting?
Oh wait, there was a document? Where's the document?
Yeah, I made you a document.
Oh, where did you put it?
He sent it to me in chat.
Yeah,
it's in the chat of Facebook Messenger.
Yes. All right, April, you start while Todd does.
Yes,
that.
Okay. I will find it.
It's probably just because I don't always recognize these things, but I did not recognize that Merlin was Mark Hamill.
Oh,
the onboard computer.
There you go. Yes, indeed, and he was in all the other games. Or he was in the game because the games were prior to this.
He voiced him in the spin-off animated TV
series.
Well.
There were 3 games prior to this? Did they make some after? Oh, in spin-off TV series. Very good. All right. Oh, here we go. Now we already talked about this one, and Todd, this is where you fell short. This was only one of 3 films that was released with the theatrical trailer for Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. Many people paid admission to see the trailer and then walked out. Todd, you did the first thing, but not the second thing.
What were the other movies that got the trailer? Because maybe I should have gone to them instead.
It doesn't say. All right, do you have the trivia? Do you have the trivia up to find?
No, you sent me the Zencaster link. You didn't send me the actual document link.
Oh no. Okay. Hold on. I'll try to send it to you now. So, all right, honey.
Or you can put it in the Zencaster chat. Either way,
that's a very good idea. All right. Well, we'll give Todd a reprieve, but honey, jump in with another one that you found interesting, please.
I'm looking. There was a poster of Sarah Michelle Gellar in Freddie Prinze's room.
What? Ooh. Yes. Oh, I've got one. Minnie Driver, who's a Irish actress I'm very fond of, was considered for the role of Angel. And Angel was Saffron Burrows, right? I think.
Yes, Angel. And he kept on calling her Angel. I'm not sure if you just get away with not referring to your senior officer as anything other than their call sign.
Rank or their call sign, exactly.
Sorry, Charlie, I have to request access to this Google Doc.
Oh my goodness! I made one just for you.
You're doing so well.
It's going so well. It's going great.
Hold on. All right. We'll keep banking it for Todd. Honey, what? You go ahead, please.
In an interview in. It doesn't say what year. Freddie Prinze Jr. discusses his hatred for Wing Commander, stating, "I can't stand Wing Commander. I can't watch one scene of that movie. I read the script and loved it. So did my buddy Matthew Lillard. We both got parts. We went on location. They said there's a new script. It was a piece of shit."
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah.
Tough.
Is he gonna
Great
be on the
review.
commentary? He's gonna do the commentary on the 25th anniversary Blu-ray?
Right,
Oh my
exactly.
gosh.
I'm sure
It's
they're
coming
gonna
up.
invite him back.
It's coming up 25 years very soon.
All right, Todd, here you go. Here's the one I made just for you. This is great. This makes for great radio. So, okay, while Todd brings his up,
Thank you.
I'll jump in with another one. Oh, the Rapier fighters are built out of English electric lighting fuselages, not out of MiG-21 fuselages, as sometimes stated. Ooh, important piece of information. That is great. In the DVD insert on the page listing actor character bios next to Chenny Caro's bio is a picture of Jurgen Porchow. Well, ouch. I'm sure somebody got fired for that scrub. All right, you got something for us yet, Todd?
I love this one. So Malcolm McDowell, who was in the video games, he was meant to reprise his role as Admiral Tolwyn. So blanking on his name, the Star Trek Klingon man.
David Warner.
He was supposed to play that role, but he had to decline due to scheduling conflict with Fantasy Island. I forgot that was a thing. They redid Fantasy Island in 1998.
Oh my goodness. No way. So, all right, honey, up your turn.
Did you take another turn?
Oh.
I've said a lot, I think, but sure, I can find another one.
Okay, why not? Oh, I've got one. This makes sense. The story of Wing Commander franchise was inspired by the science fiction author Larry Niven's Man Kizzy Wars stories.
Oh yeah, Man Kizzy Wars show.
And the Kinsey, I know this isn't in here. The Kinsey or something is that's from Star Trek, the old animated series. So that actually looked very familiar, very 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 forgettable. So, okay, anything else out here that's jumping out at you guys?
This was Chris Roberts' only directorial job.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it does say the film was rushed into production because Fox wanted Wing Commander in November of '98, so it could release before episode 1, giving Chris Robert 3 months of pre-production instead of 9 months.
Oh, he did. Yeah, Chris Roberts did executive produce The Punisher from 2004.
Oh, the Thomas Jane one. Oh,
yes,
my goodness.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Oh, and finally, the film takes place in 2654, putting it about 300 years after where Star Trek would take place. So if it was in the same universe, then technology dumps and then comes back again. Very interesting. Okay. Oh, God. Ben Kingsley was offered the role of the Admiral.
Why didn't he take the part?
Right.
Oh my God, they probably offered him like $50. Okay, so final analysis. 1 to 10. I love these babies, honey. What do you give it?
I'd have to be a 1.
Wow, that's generous. You also could
say it had to be 1 to 10.
Yeah, but you could go with a 0 or a negative number. I'm not going to stop you.
Well, yeah, there was nothing redeeming about the movie. So
it was cliche heavy.
It was very cliche. It felt like cutscenes.
Right. Totally. Now, Todd, as the person who experienced it in the moment, where do you rank it on 0 to 10? I love these babies and or negative integers.
Well, considering it had been how many years? 24 years since I saw it the last time, the only time. I think I liked it better now than I did originally. I don't know why. Like, okay, I get it. It's a pretty generic film, but I think it was just a little bit of things at the time. Like, I expected it bigger. I thought it was going to be better. And who knows? Yeah.
Bigger, better, uglier. I'm going to go with a flat 0. Oh, Todd, you just dropped it. Oh, boy. You just, is that the director?
No, but that is the actual Killer Rathy costume. I guess it was animatronic or something.
Oh my gosh! Honey, I don't know. I have his document open, and he has a picture of the thing, and it looks like kind of like a samurai outfit with a helmet with a visor, painted copper. So, yikes. So final analysis for me, and boy, we're clocking this in under 45 minutes. I'm impressed. Yeah, it was you put a bunch of cliches you tore up little scraps of paper, put them in a baseball cap, and you yanked them out, and that's how you got the plot of a film. Yeah, clocking in it. Yeah, exactly. Got to keep it under 88 minutes. a spectacular failure that has been practically lost to history. We had to get this one out of the library. I don't think that it exists. It certainly doesn't exist in the digital space. No, that's not true. It did, but it was a rental, but we all refused to rent it. Or Todd, you never said how you got it. Did you? You don't have to say now. I know it's a bone of contention.
The Blu-ray fairy.
The Blu-ray fairy. Oh my goodness. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up? The less said, the better. All right. Well, Patreons, thank you as always for joining us for this once a quarter send up of terrible movies. And Todd, thank you for being our first guest. Where, though people probably know, where do people find, in case they don't, where do they find you out there?
At Oxtra on Twitter is my main place on the socials. And obviously check out everything we're doing on Patreon at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite.
As you already know, unless you're doing a free trial, which would be awesome. Thank
Absolutely.
you. If you're doing a free trial, thank you for giving us a try. April, where do people find you out there?
At the April Carden on Instagram.
Excellent. And I'm over on Twitter at the C3. Spell it out. April and I do actually run the USS Grand Petoskey, as you know, one of the biggest chapters of the International Star Trek Fan Club in this wide world. I also run Region 13, which is Michigan and Eastern Canada. If you happen to be a Trekker within the sound of my voice and you're listening to maybe one of our free trials, drop us a line at a website of that name and across all socials, and we can find Trekkers in your area. So with that, Patreons, thank you very much. And we will see you next time for a bad trip to the movies with the Cardens. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.